Good day to all my fellow marks out there, and welcome to the wacky and wild world of professional wrestling, the only form of entertainment where the most dominant and menacing faction are dressed in fresh Hanes white t-shirts. Grab yourself a drink and a snack, kick your feet up and relax. You are now listening to the Groupchat Wrestling Podcast.
Hi guys, welcome to episode 22 of the Groupchat Wrestling Podcast. I'm your main host Mike GWP on the socials. And just to let you know, this week we've gone for a bit more of a listener feedback heavy episode because we've been slacking on the questions lately and we wanted to make it up to everyone. Take a bit of a week to clear the backlog, so to speak. But I'm going to pass over to my other host now.
Hey guys, it's Damwell KC on Blue Sky. You know who I am now. Had a cracking episode. Not episode. I had a cracking interview with someone who we'll reveal later on in the podcast.
Yeah, that was great. It was very good, and I went to TNT the weekend. I'm absolutely knackered because we were out very late afterwards, singing the final countdown, which seems to be the usual thing whenever I go wrestling with Gav. And I'm going to Atomic on Wednesday, so a heavy week of wrestling. Always is.
Who's on that show?
Atomic.
Yeah.
Can't remember off the top of my head. I know Rob Drake's on. Rob Drake, Kessler. I think Lycos Jim are on as well.
You'll have a great show then.
Lizzie Evo. Yeah. No, it's a really decent lineup actually. It's in the brewery as well, so it's going to be quite cool. It's just across the road from my daughters anyway, so nice, easy. Drop my car there, walk over.
That's happy days. At least it's going to be better than. Hopefully they don't charge you £3 for a can of Pepsi.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah.
We're going to start this week with the Discord questions. Again, if you want to join in our community, we've got a great Discord. It's really thriving over there. And the link to join the server will be on our social medias. And just to plug it, this week, to celebrate the start of the C2, we did the GWP C2 sweepstakes, which was different members of the community threw in money, half of which had gone to charity, the other half would go to the winner. But some of the members of that sweepstake have already pledged their winnings to charity. And because of that, we managed to raise £40 so far for Zoe's Place, which is a baby hospice here in my hometown of Liverpool and Andy's. Just great work for ill children and their families.
Fantastic stuff. Yeah, I'm one of the ones pledging my winnings as well because, it's a very good cause.
100%. Even though I'm not from the area, I can't ignore the good stuff that they do. So yeah, if I do win the sweepstake, and that's a big if because I don't win a lot of things, then yeah, I all my winnings will go to the hospital as well, the hospice.
I can't even remember who I got. Did I get Claudio? I might actually win if it's Claudio.
Yeah, I think you're in with the shout, and I'm in. I've got Brody, so I think I'm in with a fair chance. But it seems like the playing field's a bit too competitive for Brody. But I could be wrong.
I said Claudio months ago after that Carter show when he had a draw with Okada, and I remember thinking it would be great to build him. And obviously directions have gone different ways now with the storylines and stuff. But I'd still love Claudio too. I think you couldn't argue with him deserving it. The man's put a shift in every week since he's come to AEW, and yeah, he's one of my favourites.
Yeah, do you know, just on that, really quickly, just before we get into the questions, because I've got a theory on that as well. But talking to people who've put a shift in every week can we get a shout out for the Beast Mortos? Because I had a chat with I was watching Collision on Saturday because it was on a reasonable time here. And I watched this match with Fletcher, and it just made me realise how many matches I've seen of him this year alone, and each one I've been thoroughly entertained. He should be within a shout for the most underrated wrestler of the year, but that's another issue for another day.
There's a few, isn't there, that put a shift in every week, and you're going to get something good out of them.
100%.
Beast Mortos goes out there every week, and these guys do literally do wrestle on near enough every show as well. Claudio's another one. Claudio's of of that group, Claudio's probably wrestled the most matches this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
The thing, just talking about Beast Mortos dead quick, the thing I love about Beast Mortos is, and this has been mentioned before, but I'll bring it up again, he's essentially two different wrestlers in one, depending on who he wrestles. If he wrestles a smaller luchador guy, then he's a really steady base. But if he wrestles someone more his size, like Carl Fletcher, he can wrestle like a luchador.
That's what I really like about him, because he's so versatile. Like, he's probably in the heavier. Well, he's probably like, he's definitely not a junior heavyweight. Let's put it that way. But he moves like one, and he can
Yeah.
have a match as if he is one with whomever he's wrestling. Yeah, I'm such a fan of him. I think he's done brilliant work, and I think he never has to say anything. He just roars, and I'm just entertained by it. Just yeah, he's one of the most like underappreciated and like underrated signings that AEW have made this year, considering who they have signed, like Okada and Osprey and Mercedes and Lashley and everybody like that. Nobody has been bad, but Mortos just has been a real unsung hero this year.
Oh, definitely, I agree. The only problem for me with Mortos is that he's probably too far down the line to get where he probably deserves. If I would guess, he's probably a wrestler that's going to have a very big 2026, 2025, might just come a bit too soon.
The problem you got
fans
is
love
that,
him, though. The fans love him.
Yeah, but he's getting showcased every week, and he's putting a shift in it. And the problem you've got though is with a lot of people don't seem to think a wrestler is getting a push unless they get a title. And it's always something that's annoyed me, that like people moaning that Danny Garcia never got a push. He was in feuds with Will Ospreay and MJF.
Yeah.
In an angle with Will Ospreay. If that's not a push, you don't have to. A push doesn't have to result in a fucking title every time. It's just more exposure and something a bit meatier to get into, isn't it?
Oh, 100%.
Stepping stone, really. So Mortos essentially being showcased every week. I think it's great, and he is essentially being pushed. He's being used because he's good.
Mm-hmm.
He's filling that role, like the workhorse who can go out every week, and no matter what, you're going to get something like enjoyable. Whether it's like a squash against a smaller luchador, or whether it's like a really competitive match with someone, because like his placement in the C2 is like well deserved, because you're going to get him like week in, week out now, having like good matches with like established people, and you don't really expect him to win. At most, he could probably get like one win, maybe two at a push. But like either way, he's still getting featured, and I think that'll feed into like how they utilize him next year. Because I mean, I don't want to harp on about this too long, but it feels like Tony like recognizes when talent is getting good reactions and is like making an impact. And usually that Mortos is kind of ticking all those boxes right now for the role that he's playing. I get that he has that character where you can't really connect in the same way that like a Bryan Danielson can or a Will Ospreay can, but he's still kind of good enough to be considered for like a mid-card title run perhaps in the next year or two.
The first question sort of plays into what we were talking about, and that comes from Sarah on the Discord. And she said, just keep it obvious. What's everyone's guess for the C2 semis and the fan?
Well, I'll start here. I think you talked about Claudio Castagnoli earlier, Andy. I think he's definitely a semi-finalist. So here's how I picture it, because of the unique way the tournament's going in this year, is that the runner-up of the Blue League faces the winner of the league, and then vice versa for the other semi-final, and then the two winners fight each other. So I think if we're going to go for like realistic winners of the Blue and Gold leagues, I think Claudio is the runner-up in the Gold League, and he faces the winner of the Blue League, which I think will be Okada. So I think we get the Claudio and Okada rematch, and on the other side, I think we get Kyle Fletcher as the runner-up in the Blue League, and we have Ospreay winning the Gold League. And then you do those two rematches, and then in the finals you have Okada and Ospreay, where I think Okada wins, and that's when I think we see Kenny Omega return.
I think you're probably right, to be honest. As much as I'd love Claudio to win, and I think he deserves it. I think that makes the most sense, doesn't it? You know, you've got Okada, one of the best tournament wrestlers of all time, hasn't really been showcased to his best yet in AEW, and this is, you know, surely the chance now. You've got Will Ospreay, who's the best wrestler in the world. You've got Carl Fletcher, who's on fire right now, and Claudio. And I think that it's a tough one because it's a solid two. You know, both brackets are really good. The quality is incredible, but I think that's the four you have to go with, and whichever way it goes, whether Carl Fletcher gets another win over Ospreay, and we end up with, you know, Fletcher Okada, or whether Claudio somehow beats Okada, who knows? But I think that's the best four, and I think if it leads to Kenny Omega coming back, that'd be class. Get Kenny Omega, Kenny Omega Okada down the line.
It's one of them where I think, like, you know, because Darby in it makes you think, okay, well, this is kind of his, you know, chance to, you know, avenge, you know, the thing with Moxley. But if he wins the C2, he's not going to really be in a program with Moxley. He's just going to have another title.
I hate that it's a title, though. I really fucking hate this. I know I've moaned about it before, but like, they should not be fucking defending this every now and again. It should be once a year and add to the importance of this. And maybe it should be a title shot. I mean, if it was that, you could understand maybe Darby winning, but as it stands, there's no benefit to anybody for Darby to win this.
No.
At all.
Agreed.
And like, it's you know, that's why I don't think he's got a chance in hell. It's and unfortunately, one of my favorite wrestlers, Juice Robinson, I think is going to be the one with 0 wins at the end of it.
Well, he might not even finish it because he supposedly he's got injured, so there might be a replacement in there.
Buddy Matthews, come on, let's get Buddy Matthews in there.
I'd love it, but my man is well, put it this way: if you're going to put Buddy in there, he's going to have a match with Brody, and that. I mean, that'd be sick.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
Give us it.
But he's in Melbourne. He's doing press for AEW in Australia. But I fucking love Buddy Matthews in there. But no,
who would you
I
put
think
in there if they put a replacement in there? Who could slot in there? And who?
Speedball.
He's not going to be available. Is he till next year? They said not available to sign. That was the latest from SAP, was that it's going to be kind of January time. So he's out of the equation. Who else would you throw in there?
The thing is, if you're going to put someone in, you need someone who can basically do what Juice was doing, and that it basically eat pins. So you need someone who can just
I don't know,
in every loss.
I don't know, because like I know he's not going to be ready till January, but we're not far from January. If he is injured, I'll just stick Kenny Omega and have him fucking win the rest of his matches and have a Kenny Omega final. Honestly, I would. And imagine. I know it's too much for Kenny right now. He's probably wants to ease in, but imagine getting Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay in the semis, and then Kenny Omega Okada in the final.
It's in the round robin. He'd have to face Okada and Ospreay in the round robin before he'd even got to semis. Actually, no, not Ospreay, because if he takes up Juice's spot, in theory, he has to start on 0 points and to win all 4 of his last matches. That'd be a story and after. Fuck. I mean, I'd love it. I mean, my dream match hat is well and truly on, and I'd fucking love it. I mean, I'd love to see Kenny Omega wrestle anybody, but realistically, I'd love.
It is a wild one for you.
Go on.
What about Infinito?
Yeah.
Infinito comes back after his previous one match and wins the entire thing and unmasks at the end, demanding a title shot with Joe Moxley.
Stranger things have happened. Mike, go on. Who would you have as your? I need to think of who I'd want to replace Juice. So, who would you put as the semis and the finals?
It's lazy, but I'd have to agree with you, Dan. But I would go the other way, and I would have Claudio come out on top, just to add to the misery. Give Death Riders even more control over the company. They've got the trios, they've got the Continental, they've got the World title. And in terms of a replacement for Juice, it's a bit lazy, but I'd go Commander.
I mean, again, another guy who puts a shift in every time and, you know, whether he loses or wins, you remember stuff that he does, like that springboard moonsault to the outside, like the twisting moonsault is just unreal. Like I don't know anybody who could pull it off so smoothly. I'd go Leo Rush personally if I had to pick anybody. Just because again he's got that, you know, he can have a great match with just about anybody, and because most of his opponents are going to be bigger than him. And ultimately it could end with, Shelton Benjamin, for example, saying, I was really impressed with you in the tournament, or MVP rather, saying, I was really impressed with you, let's chat. And then you have a little angle building there with Leo Rush. I still think the Acclaim should join. But Leo joining would be such a sick move because you need like the high flyer in that group.
Leo Rush and the Acclaim should join, and then that should be the group done.
Yeah.
And the end game should be over the next couple of years. Leo Rush ends up beating Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. I don't care that he's a smaller guy. We've had smaller guys come out on top before. Darby Allin's a smaller guy and everyone's shouting for him to be the world champ. I think Leo Rush is absolutely fucking incredible.
Oh, same, mate. But yeah, that's who I'd pick. I'd go Leo Rush.
I've actually changed my mind, and the pick I would have, and again, it's someone I have go in and win every match and end up winning it, is the Nueve.
God damn it, Andy.
Right, next question.
On to the second question, again from the Discord. This is shouts to Punished Badoof, who says, how do we feel about this supposedly being the most critical time for WWE? Should we expect shows like Survivor Series to be weaker as a result?
I think it's an absolute fucking disgrace what WrestleVotes put out there, and the general vibe that the PR seems to be trying to push, which is, the show was shit on purpose, which is what they're trying to put out there. It's insane to tell someone, the show was shit. Survivor Series is one of the fucking 4 main staple WWE pay-per-views. It always has been, and to just put a shit show out there, which it was, and say, what do you expect? We knew it was going to be mid. Like, we just put it out there. Just we're focusing on other things. So we purposely made a shit pet. How can you fucking do that? It like and Full Gear got more criticism than Survivor Series did.
This is it.
I get that people are now realizing that WWE being hot, as Meltzer keeps saying every fucking week, isn't actually fucking that much of a thing, and that it's actually quite shit storyline wise and wrestling, quality wise, obviously outside of the odd thing. And like, it's almost like the illusion is kind of starting to wear a bit thin now, and people are realizing that it is just the same as it was before. And this hot thing is just, some kind of an illusion, isn't it? Some kind of Emperor's New Clothes kind of situation where nobody wants to admit that it is actually shit. And coming into Netflix, they're clearly going to be panicky about this, because you've got the fact that like the whole event TV is gone, because it's not event TV anymore. It's going to be on live on Netflix, but it doesn't matter. You can watch it whenever you want. You can catch up whenever you want. That as is the same with every Netflix thing. So that's gone for the start. So they're going to be worried about people catching it live. You've got the fact that Netflix is live streaming with the Tyson fight was a fucking shit show. So they're probably panicking about that now and trying to work out, how they can steady things. So that they're lining up all the big guns for Netflix. So they're basically telling the fans, you're going to eat shit until January, because we've got all the John Cena stuff, the eventual fucking Punk turn, or whatever the fuck's going to happen there. They'll probably bring Brock Lesnar back, because let's face it, they don't give a fuck. They're going to line all the big guns back for Netflix and try and fire everything out that week, which, you can understand them doing. But to then turn around and say, well, you should expect shit shows now until then, that's just fucking insane. I just don't get it.
This is why I think AEW is held to a much, much, much different standard to the Fed, because put it this way, if Tony Khan went and sort of like not necessarily him, but if like an outlet essentially said that this show essentially was bad on purpose, then and it was AEW, they would be crucified like constantly. But this, it's just nuts. Like, they should start using one of these, like, I guess you could say, like, WrestleVotes just brown noses Triple H anyway. If you thought this show wasn't very good, well, we did that on purpose. It's just like it screams.
Imagine if AEW did that.
Exactly. Like, and like as you rightly say, like Full Gear got criticized because it wasn't built to, it wasn't like the show that they've done. I admit that it wasn't the show that they've done all year, but they've had 5, maybe 6 pay-per-view of the year contenders. So if it what that they were such a high bar that this one didn't quite meet that bar, and so rightfully they get like shat on by everybody and all those fucking engagement farmers and grifters. That's why I left Twitter in the first place, because it just happened all the time, and I just got sick of it. Like
why the fuck is this cunt doing essays, not doing a fucking essay on this shit? Instead, he's doing an essay trying to tell the world why Kenny Omega is and all that.
Or was it the other one, like why Claudio and Ricochet had a bad match? They didn't. It was a good match.
Why it wasn't really that good, and why you were wrong for thinking it was. Fuck you, you fucking prick. Do a fucking essay. Do a 4-page fucking essay with your stupid fucking typewriter fonts while you're sniffing your own farts on fucking Survivor Series being purposely bad. Fucking tit.
That's all I have to say on that. I don't want to give that.
Honestly, anyway.
Yeah, I don't think we have to add anything further to that.
Sorry, everyone. Sorry about the rant there. I hate that shit though. Fucking trying to convince the world that what they like, they shouldn't be liking because I know better than you.
How dare you have fun?
Fucking miserable.
That in, by the way.
December, for God's sake.
I know.
We got 3 questions from the absolute superstar. That is Dr. Mose. Shouts to Mose, top guy.
I changed his name to Dr. Mose because do you remember when Swear put that picture out of the X-ray?
Oh yeah.
And Mose responded to it saying, "I think that looks like whatever he thought it might look like as a non-doctor." And one of the fucking news sites picked it up and used his quote saying, we believe it's this. Fucking, and then it turned out it was all a work anyway.
Exactly. And that's why I said I think he's trolling. But yeah, Mose is a top lad. I've got so much time for him.
No, he's a really nice guy.
That just shows how the feebleness of the wrestling media, that they will just pick up anything that the people say on Twitter and just assume that it's fact.
They didn't even credit him either, or did they? Maybe they did. Even if they did, I'm just going to pretend they didn't, so I can call them a bunch of cunts. Anyway, what's the questions? Let's go.
Yeah.
Right. So question 1. AEW seems to now be in a position to take criticism head on. It's now promoting events and doing video packages. Yet the grifters still want to complain. Is it valid?
No.
Move on.
Right. Tony Storm has changed her name on Instagram. She's now Tony Storm Robinson. Conspiracy is welcomed. Andy?
I could do a full-on investigation on this, but like they're married, so it's probably just a real name. And yeah, I'll put some work into it next week and see if I can figure out why she's changed it. But I'm guessing it's as simple as that. It's not as deep as it's not like a full-on deep state thing like David Arquette, which is still going on.
Yeah, just lock your windows. You've mentioned his name, so you never know who's listening.
That fucking radiation poisoning, man. That fucking nearly took me out.
You're in a bad way for a while, anyways.
Yeah.
No, it seems totally normal, but I mean, giving a shout out to Tony Storm, like, I can't wait to see her back. Like, have you seen like the whole retirement angle that she's pulled, where she's going to go run a curry shop? She's gonna. It's just brilliant, man.
I think that's why, isn't it? Like, that's why she's changed.
It's deliberate.
The whole, I'm done with wrestling now. This is my real name, and the character's gone, and I'm just going to retire.
She's got to come back at Winter is Coming, hasn't she? That screams like a chance for her to return, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%.
If Mina's gone after that for a while, or she's getting taken out, then yeah, because
it feels like she returns at Winter is Coming, and then you get Mariah Tony 2 at World's End. It seems like that's just got to be the way you end it. But I wouldn't have her win the title back until Grand Slam.
I agree, because I think Mariah needs more of a run, because the quality of opponents they've given her, I just don't think has been up to snuff for a world champion. She should have been wrestling the best of the best, not the actual challengers, not just people who are there or thereabouts, or don't really deserve a title, because it devalues it a bit when they're just when they're getting. We need the rankings back basically, because that fixes everything.
Yeah,
but whatever.
it does.
But what I would do is I would have Mariah beat the shit out of Mina, but I would have Luther come to the ring with Mina. I would have Luther return, and then I would have Mariah beat her, and then Mariah beat the living shit out of Luther, leaving Luther a bloody mess. And then that's when Tony decides, I need to get back.
Yeah. Or even Mariah could have a match with Luther, and it would be it would drive the agenda, like grifters, mad. But I'd love it. I think it'd be great.
You're onto something there. I like that. Mariah against Luther, and Tony has to come. Then she has to come because Luther's there. Luther went to war for her.
Exactly.
He was willing to die for it.
You could start doing like the little grayscale effects on the cameras at some little bits, like flickering and static and all that kind of stuff, just to sort of tease it. Do that for like a month, and have Tony's grand return, and then have her beat Mariah again at Grand Slam. I'd love that.
Yeah, it's gonna be if they need to play it right, because this return has to be big, because it was the best story they've done since Hangman's main storyline, and I feel like it needs to feel big. You know what I mean? It should have been main event, to be honest, but it's still don't get out. Well,
if they build it right, I reckon it could main event Grand Slam. I reckon the big rematch. It should be the main event. Yeah.
Unless you can get Kenny Omega, Buddy Matthews, because like I don't know, that would be a tough one then, because Kenny Omega, don't know. Anyway, yeah, she's gonna be back soon, hopefully. What's the next question?
Just a quick point before we move on. I just want to see what your opinions are on this. It feels to me more like Mina's at the TBS title run and Mercedes Moné is at the world title run. If that makes sense.
Mariah, you mean? Yeah. No, in terms of the quality of opponents, it does, because and I think I was saying this to you the other day, wasn't I? I think Anna Jay has improved, but she's not improved enough to the point where she should be challenging for the world title and pushing the champ that close at all.
That's the thing as well, is that like there are, the women's division has improved a lot. And where you've got two women's titles, you can't just sort of like you have to be a bit selective with who they face. And if you're going to build to theoretically, like the biggest women's wrestlers like at the moment, like in terms of star power right now, are definitely like Mercedes, Jamie, who was injured for half the year, well, 3/4 of the year, more or less, Willow, Mariah, and Chris Statlander, I'd say, and Tony Storm. Tony goes away for a bit to sell like the loss at Wembley and everything, and do her angle. And that and Willow are both feuded with Mercedes. That leaves essentially Jamie, which is something that you got to save for a little while, I think. That doesn't really leave you with a whole lot of like credible opponents. Mina, I guess, because she has the storyline history with Mariah, makes sense. Like I get it, but I wish they'd have built this up a bit longer.
I think they've let it down, to be honest myself, with the booking with this.
Yeah.
The women's division was on fire at one point, and I feel like it's tailed off a bit the last kind of 4 months or so since All In. Actually, I feel like it's tailed off. I just don't think they've been too scared of wrestlers taking losses. Like in reality, you should have had a program with Mariah against Willow, and Willow takes the loss.
Well, they did the match at, was it all? No, not All Out. It was at Wrestle Dream. They should have progressed that a little bit longer.
Yeah, they should.
But Willow got concussed, didn't she? She got a concussion.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, but
one of those things.
What I mean is like
you have to pivot. Tony's not good at pivoting, as we know.
No, it feels like they're too worried about protecting wrestlers, which is why it baffles me that now you've got this Jamie Hayter, Julia Hart scenario kicking in, where both are faces anyway, which is stupid. But even if Julia does turn the House of Black back to the dark side, then you've still got a case where Julia coming back can't really be losing straight away, and Jamie right now on the run cannot be losing. So, if you're willing to avoid wrestlers taking losses in other storylines. Why is this one been left to where it's not gonna benefit either? I don't think. It's weird.
Yeah.
I feel like he's just dropped the ball a bit on that. And plus, the women's match, we've gone back. We went from getting a lot of exposure on the women's matches to now back down to one solitary women's match on a Dynamite, one on a
I
Collision,
know.
and
And
hardly any fucking time as well. I mean, the fact that Mercedes Statlander match nearly went 20 minutes, and
I know. I was just about to say that. Yeah.
I couldn't believe that stat, and the stat, and that no match has gone longer than 20 minutes. That's a fucking disgrace. Because not like they can't do it.
With the talent that you have, you need to be held accountable for that. Like, come on, clearly Mercedes and Stat, whenever that rematch takes place, however long it takes to get there, you need to have the match. Be a 30-minute Iron Man match. Just because they nearly stole the show. If it wasn't for Ospreay and Fletcher, they would have been match of the night, without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion. But
definitely, yeah. But yeah, I feel like they need to just put a bit more focus back on this now, because they've really put a lot into it, and then it was almost like they sat back and just admired the work and just let it kind of.
The thing is, sorry to harper on about this again, but it feels like they were relying so heavily on the Tony Mariah thing, which was probably the best thing on TV for a large portion of this year. And when that first chapter ended, very little was sort of in its place, could measure up to it. Mercedes was able to go out there and have great matches, but her program was very, rarely ever as memorable as the overarching Tony Mariah storyline. And then now the Jets have called. I think they were just waiting for phase 2, which is imminent. I think with Winter is Coming and Grand Slam Australia not far away. It feels like, but that's when the program will start to sort of kick back up again, obviously. But where do you go from there? You need to be able to pivot. It's Tony not being able to pivot and adjust when things don't go right, or when you get an unexpected injury and stuff like that.
It's that, but it's also the fact that, like I say, Anna Jay shouldn't have been in that position for me at all. But if you're only having one women's match a fucking show at most, you ain't going to be able to build them up to be where they can be in that position. So, for me, I would have had Anna Jay facing someone else on a lower down the card, and maybe find a better opponent for Mariah. But you can't do that because they'll only put one match on, so you kind of fucked. There's no way to remedy it. Yeah, there's no way to remedy it unless you're willing to put more than one fucking woman's match on the show. It's stupid.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you fix it without doing that, bringing back the rankings, and but we need Dark back as well, because at least then, if they're not willing to put more than one women's match on a fucking show for some reason, at least you get a fair few on Dark. You just get loads on Dark.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, next question. Come on, I'm fucking getting depressed whinging about this stuff.
Well, the next question will cheer us up a bit anyway. The next question from former guest host Lomax. Shout to Lomax. He says, what one male, female, and tag team from the independents do you think can make the jump from Ring of Honor to NXT?
To Ring of Honor?
Yeah, to Ring of Honor or NXT.
Okay. Right.
On the indies. Okay.
Yeah.
So to Ring of Honor, Ring of Honor, I would say female wrestler, Rio, because she'd kill it over there.
Good shit.
Yeah, tag team. I would say the what are they called? What are they? I've forgotten their name. Shit. What are they called? Hang on. Carly Sterling and Nick Riley. What are they called?
Smoking Aces.
Smoking Aces, yeah. Put them in Ring of Honor. They'd kill it over there.
Really
and a male wrestler, I would say, I'd say Leon Slater. He could, he could be a TV champion in Ring of Honor. He's still so young. Give him a couple of years in Ring of Honor, and I'd see him on AEW tearing it up with Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega.
Well, we've
Do it.
already said Michael Oaker usually, so I'll skip that one because that's the obvious one, isn't it? That we said. So for me, I would probably say I'd probably say Session Moth, to be honest.
Interesting
Just
choice. Yeah.
because she's over as fuck, and like that's what you
Mm.
need, you know. She's already over anyway, and she can go when she's not got concussion, and I just because I fucking love the guy, I'm gonna say Leon Cage, fuck it, just because that's the one scenario in my mind I would like in terms of how I would use him in Ring of Honor. But anyway, we will talk about that later on.
And you tag team.
Tag team. It's probably I know it's going to be biased because it's the Brit wrestling stuff, but it's probably going to be Luke Jacobs and fucking
Allen.
sorry.
You say
Ethan
Ethan
Allen.
Allen?
Yeah, sorry, Luke Jacobs and Ethan Allen.
Yeah, the Young Guns. Good shout.
I think they'd be brilliant anyway. I would have said the ones you said, to be honest.
Yeah, they're cracking. They are. I mean, there's loads of British indies that could make the jump, and they actually like smash it out of the park if they were booked right. But we just don't want another NXT UK scenario where they just sign everybody and everybody just ends up having the same match, and it just ends up being really it ends up killing the scene. We need the indies.
It's I don't know. Yeah, they're probably the ones I'd say.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
Well, Andy's just robbed one of my answers.
I know who it is.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, no, you can have that because he was in a tag team, so he's also a singles guy. So we know who your male wrestler is. Let's not beat around the bush.
Yeah. It's Luke Jacobs. We both know I'm a huge fan. As a secondary, I'd say Connor Mills. In terms of women,
that's a good
show
for tag teams, by the way. Sorry, Connor Mills and Jay Joshua. I fucking love them two together. That'd be a good one. Sorry.
No, it's alright. Don't worry. As a scouser, gotta go for Miguel. Gotta go for Lizzie Evo.
Yep.
For female, and then tag team, gotta go with friends of the podcast, The Experience. Yeah. I think
that's a good show.
Of them. Yeah. Both of them would be great fits as a team, as singles to either side of the women's division.
Yeah, LA Taylor would be imagine LA Taylor squaring up with like Queen Aminata and Athena. Oh, what a dream!
Yeah, that's a good show.
Even Sky Smithson, though, she's unbelievable in her own right.
Yeah, they both are. Great shout. I hadn't thought of that.
She was classing on the weekend there. She carried that much.
Dead quick. I actually missed the question earlier from Mose. I do apologise, Mose.
It's a disgrace.
And he says basically, been a lot of discourse lately around freezing talent contracts. Ray Phoenix, Ricky Starks. And what are our opinions on that, basically?
Well, I'm all for Tony holding them to the contracts, to be honest. They knew what they were signing when they signed him. But if you're not going to use him, then that's when I change my view, you know what I mean? Like, I'm all for keeping Ray Phoenix and using him and putting over talent while he's on his way out, which is what they should do. That's what they used to do years ago. But if he's not going to use him and he's literally just sitting at home, there's no fucking point, man. Just cut him and save the money and let him go.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
As for Starks, I don't really fucking care. I don't rate the guy, to be honest. If he's willing to put talent over, get him on telly and But then again, like there's no these guys don't have creative control. But then if the stories are true that he was turning down angles, maybe these wrestlers are saying, I'm not going to come on and lose to whoever. So I don't know, but if they're not going to, what's the point in them being there? I get that you don't want WWE to benefit and just take him and have a Lex Luger situation almost. But just, man, it's stupid. Just if they're not going to come and work, you have to get rid.
Yeah, it's a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. If they're willing to come in and work while still under contract, then pay them and make the use of them. Like let them go out on a high. But if they're refusing creative and if they're just like picking up a major fuss over nothing, then just fucking let him go and save yourself the headaches.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because one of the stories was that Ray Phoenix is willing to work, but Tony just doesn't want to use him because he doesn't want WWE to benefit, which I don't see how they would benefit. If anything, it will help AEW and the perception of Ray Phoenix if he goes out there and he's jobbing to fucking everyone. Give John Cruz a win. And Serpentico, give the two of them wins.
Yeah, it's also like, you could also it could have the effect where you put Ray Phoenix on for 7 more months, ride his contract out, having awesome matches with everybody on the roster, losing pretty much all of them, I guess, and then at the end of the day, whatever WWE decide to do with him, it's not going to be, obviously all the Fed fans would think it's wild and amazing, but they still won't be as good as what he can do in AEW because they're just going to stifle him over there.
Well, and also it's like, surely it's a bigger thing for WWE to debut him after having been off TV for a year than if he's on AEW every week, putting talent over. It means more of him with him being off TV, and it's a bigger deal than if he was on TV. So it doesn't matter. I just don't get it at all. How that's the view you would take of, let's keep him off TV because we don't want them to benefit. They're going to benefit because it's a bigger thing if he's been out, in the dark for a year.
That's it in terms of the Discord questions. So just going to jump over quickly to Blue Sky. First question, because it'll be a quicker one, from Wrestle Chaps. And they said, if you're going to add someone to the Outrunners to make them a trio, who would make the most sense?
Andy, I'll let you take this one.
There's a very young boy who can't even buy a pint. The Futurist. I would. I've said this. You'll hear it in a bit anyway. But I would have him turn up, get in the DeLorean. The DeLorean drives back the stage, comes back out, and then the Outrunners music hits, and it's in 4:3 ratio. I would have Leon Cage, the young Futurist, the whole, I would have that with Out of Time with the Outrunners.
It'd be a great one, like the young Futurist with the youngest men alive. Yeah,
the youngest men alive, and you stick an older lad in there, a 17-year-old, just to give him a bit of experience.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, I was going to say Leon as well because he's cracking. He's cracking. Awesome to watch in the ring, and him teaming with the Outrunners would be just awesome, I think. But realistically, Dalton Castle, because they were cracking. They were a great trio. Like when the Outrunners were coming, were essentially his boys. After the other two were, gotten rid of. When Dalton's back, just have him win the Ring of Honor World Title and stick him with the Outrunners on Ring of Honor.
I don't think there's anyone else really, but then again, I don't want the Outrunners on Ring of Honor. I want them to win the title. It depends how it goes with the Outrunners. So realistically, if it's got to be someone from the current AEW roster, I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't think there's anyone. I don't think there's anyone who could match.
They don't need anybody because when they had what's her name like with them, she added nothing to the
Erica Lee.
She added nothing of substance really. Nothing against her. Just she didn't really add anything because it was the Outrunners who were over. It wasn't really not her fault. It's just one of them. The Outrunners were fine as a duo.
Yeah, I like her as well. It's just. It wasn't. I don't think it fit. Like they were trying to fit her into the Outrunners kind of gimmick, and it felt a little bit forced to me. Which is a shame. They tried, but the Outrunners were just over anyway, just for being the Outrunners. They're going after the tag titles. It makes no sense. Which I can't think of anyone else that'd stick with them. I really can't, especially from the AEW roster. Without, like I say, to get anyone to fit with them, you would have to repackage them and give them a shit gimmick, and you'd end up doing what WCW did to Mike Awesome when they ruined the best big man in wrestling, making him the 70s guy or the fat chick thriller as Vince Russo fucking
I've got one just to be different. I think Gene Money would be fucking hilarious with the Outrunners.
He'd be great with anyone. He's fucking brilliant, isn't he?
He's
He can
genius.
make anything work.
Yeah, I'd stick in with him.
Genius. Oh,
Mike, what about you? Have you got anything different to add?
You know what? It's hard. It's hard. Maybe not permanently, but for a laugh, I'd put Willow with the Outrunners. I feel like she could match their energy and their goofiness, for lack of a better term. So yeah, like a one-off with Willow.
I've got another one actually who I think as a one-off, and I reckon the Outrunners would play off it brilliantly. Gain.
Yes.
Great shout.
I think the Outrunners would be all over that. Gain and the Outrunners as a one-off. And they could just take the piss out of Glenn Jacobs, something rotten as well. He'd be fucking turning over in his grave. And like, yeah, he's not dead, but he should be. So
All right.
any more? What else we got? Any more questions?
A last question comes from Kota Haita from Blue Sky. And just to make a long question shorter, how do you deal with blocking out the negativity surrounding AEW?
Get off Twitter and join Blue Sky and actually just fuck them. Just enjoy what you want, mate.
Well,
That's all I got to say.
Yeah, just make your own mind up. That's the thing. Don't let other people influence you. You see that too much on there. I've seen a lot of people who with Full Gear last. Then a few days later, because their favourites on Twitter was saying that they didn't like it, suddenly changed their mind and saying, "Yeah, no, I like just make your own mind up. Don't let anyone else influence you." You know, that's the same with with Jericho. To be honest, there's a lot of people out there going, I feel bad admitting that I enjoyed that Jericho match. Fuck off. If you enjoy the match, he's had fucking 4 good matches in a row. Just enjoy it. Don't let any of the fucking whinging cunts, influence you and make you, feel like you shouldn't like something. And on the wider scale, the grifters who are slagging AEW off every week. So if you are going to fucking let influence you, and there's a lot of big accounts, then you ain't going to like anything. You'll be forced to watch NXT and it's fucking, Z level fucking vignettes.
That's it in terms of questions this week.
Don't be a sheep. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, that's the bottom line because GWP said so.
I actually believe in CTE.
Yeah,
yeah.
a fair few got it, to be honest. Fucking Eric Bischoff must have took a good couple of headshots over the years.
He could do with a few more. Stop him trying to shit on AEW when he's too busy selling mortgages. Stick to what you know, mate.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, at least now he's back in NXT or whatever the fuck he is now. At least he ain't gonna be selling someone in the life just so Conrad can make an extra few quid.
Okay, well over this weekend, this has gone past on Saturday. Me and Andy actually headed out to TNT's Doubleheader in Liverpool, and just for the next 10 minutes or so, we're just going to give an overview of what that was like. So go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, no, I've said this a lot lately, but everyone should be going to these shows. They put a hell of a lot of effort. Yeah, I went with me girlfriend and my daughter came, and her boyfriend came, and her boyfriend had never watched any wrestling, and he was hooked after like 2 matches. He was fucking shouting everything at them. He was loving it, and we just had a great night. It was it was a time show, which is a bit more family friendly, a bit more for kids. And do you know what? It was brilliant because there was a lot of young kids in the crowd, and the look on their faces when the wrestlers were giving them high fives or caps and that as they come to the ring, and these aren't they're not really big names either, and it just shows you all the negativity and shit online, and when you see that these kids having an absolute time of their life at these shows, it's fucking fuck the negativity off, because it's just positive. It's brilliant. There's some of that was at the weekend there was a few kids there who looked like they were having the time of their life, and that means more than anything, doesn't it? So But yeah, it was great, and it wasn't just for the kids. Obviously, the nighttime show was a 18 and over show because it was had a few death matches on there, and it was great. It was there's some incredible talent on there. Yeah, the bar actually sold cores, which was handy for me. And yeah, it was great. We met Aaron there from Renderbomb, which was nice to put a face to the name. And no, I loved it. It was one of my favourite shows I've been to, and I can't wait to go to TNT again. We did have a chat with the promoter, Jay, and we asked him if he'd come on the podcast with us, and he said he would. So we need to try and track him down and get him on. I was chatting to Blue Kane. I asked him if he'll come, and he said, yeah, if I give him a shout. So I'm going to try and harass him. I spent 60 quid. Well, my girlfriend spent 60 quid on a cruel figure for me for Christmas, which a bit overpriced, like, but whatever, he deserved it. It was a hell of a showing. What were the matches, the ones that really stood out? The death match between Cruel and BA Rose was fucking brilliant. There was one moment actually when they slammed he slammed him on that. It was like a couple of 2x4s with some saws in it, like, you know, embedded into the wood, and they slammed him on that, and one of the light tubes rolled off the end of the ring, and the glass flicked up and hit some woman and landed in her hair. I shouldn't be laughing, but it was funny because it just, I don't know, it felt like she was being a bit over dramatic. But yeah, no, it was great. It was real violence, you know, when he's slamming cheese graters in the chest, and he no sells him, and then he grabs the cheese grater himself and starts slamming it himself. Real violent stuff. If anyone watched it on TV, I was in the entrance, Martina's entrance, because I was desperate for a piss, and I didn't realise she was entering through the crowd, and I was in the way through there, which was nice. We was that was a great match, actually. A three-way in the end. It was supposed to be a one with Lana and Sky, so that was a really good match. We had the Kane versus Gain. I'm not going to spoil it because there's a lot of story. This is what I love as well. I said this but I love the way a lot of these independent shows, especially on the Brit Rest scene, are putting a lot of effort into stories in the shows, which are going to pay off in future shows. And there was a story coming out of Blue Kane and Gain that will play into a future show, and it was great. It was I like that they put a lot of effort into that. We had the main event was a death match, went a bit wrong. Emerson Jane took a bit of a dodgy glass shot in a thigh, I think it was, and yeah, that kind of got rushed. They did what they could to get. It was gruesome as well. Yeah. If anyone likes death matches, watch that. What Drew Parker does with the needle, horrible. But yeah, a bit of glass went wrong and kind of got kind of rushed through the match, and she kind of moved out, and so, you know, someone else then came out and challenged, and then took a few light tubes to the head, just padded out for us to make sure everyone went home happy. Leon Slater, Connor Mills, and Driller was the first match. That was a cracker, that. Because oh man, it was a great show. I'm getting excited thinking about it now. Just trying to run through in my head. I'm still half hungover, to be honest, but it was brilliant. I cannot wait for the next show. It was such a good event. Like I say, the daytime show was good. Gives you time to then go out, have a couple of pints and a bit of food, and then come back refreshed, and off you go again. I would advise everybody do what they can to go to the next show, because I've said this for the last 10 minutes. I've had the same thing, but basically they put on such a good show, put a hell of a lot of effort into it, and I think they deserve to have as many eyes on the product as they can. Yeah, I'd advise everyone to go. A couple of great tag team matches. Yeah, I'm not going to reel through all the matches, but I would advise everyone to watch it, and then we'll do a proper review of it when everyone's watching, to digest it myself and lose the hangover. But I did watch a bit of the Kane match on the replay the next morning, and it was fucking great because the commentators were actually really good. They were just ripping the shit out of Glenn Jacobs constantly. and it was great. I mean, that what I said before there about he's not dead, but he should be. I kind of robbed that off them, to be honest, because that's what they said. Glenn Jacobs he'd be turning in his grave. He's not dead, but he should be. But
Can't argue with
yeah,
that.
no, it's great. Honestly, watch it, Dan, because if you haven't seen it yet, it's very good, and we will probably talk about it more next week. And we're gonna try and harass Jay and maybe see if we can get him on and do a full show review with him. It'd be nice because I'd like to push it as much as we can, to our the reach that we have, because I want to see them be a success, because I was so entertained for the entire show. There wasn't any point in the show where I was like, oh, I'm done, or can they hurry up? It was great. And then obviously, as what usually go to a wrestling match with Gav, is we were singing the final countdown at about 4 a.m. on karaoke, which is nice.
Can't go wrong with that. This is great because you've sold me on this as well. Because TNT's on Triller Plus, and if you haven't got it, it's worth getting, because I still need to watch that. I still need to watch the rest of Vendetta 2 from Progress, and I still need to watch the 2 Phi Progress joint shows in Brooklyn and Chicago.
Yeah, I know. Same, man.
It's nuts. So much wrestling to catch up on.
The scene is on fire right now.
Sell for like £6-7 a month. What a fucking subscription!
I know.
No, right?
The scene's on fire right now. It really is. Like there's so many good wrestlers coming out now. Coming up through the various training centers and stuff now. Especially New Wave. New Wave have put out, man. There's so much talent I see, and you look and they're like, oh, fucking hell, another one from New Wave. It's great. I'm very excited at all the shows coming up, and I think next year is going to be. I'm going to probably be traveling to far more shows next week and put more of an effort into getting to some of the more further afield ones, just to lend my support to some of these fucking incredible athletes.
Yeah, man. Like, we need that indie scene alive, because it's some of my favorite like wrestling memories have been at indie shows. Like, they are such a crucial part of what makes wrestling special. And I don't care what anybody says about like attendance at stadium shows. Like, yeah, okay, if it's a stadium show, it can be great. But some of the best wrestling shows I've seen have been in rooms full of like 200 people, maybe 300 people, and that it makes no difference on your enjoyment of the show, really. Like, a small crowd can be vibrant, loud, energetic, and can really make a show like truly memorable. Which is what it's all about. It's all about creating memories, man.
It is, and I don't think anybody on Saturday night in Liverpool would have got better entertainment for those 4 hours or however long it was for that main show, for the price it was. And the same for the daytime show, which is cheaper as well. Like, I don't think anyone would get better value for money than that. It's great. It's great what they're doing, and support them. Keep it up, and I will be an ever presence at their shows, I think, now going forward. Yeah,
I can't wait for Riot Cabaret's Clapham show.
Yes. I hate that you go on that, man. It's fucking hell.
Oh man, I'm so excited. Like, me and some friends are going to go. So if anybody listening to this is going to go to Riot Cabaret's Jingle Bell Brawl, hit me up on Blue Sky or Discord, because obviously, like to obviously put some names to faces and actually maybe have a pint with you or something like that. But yeah, it looks cracking, man. Like, you got Thunder Rosa and Danny Luna. You got Michael Oku versus Cara Noir. You got a Jingle Bell Rumble going on. Like, there's so much to enjoy, and it's Christmas time. It's the holiday season. It's the time for enjoying yourself and hanging loose. Like, we've had a lot of us have had a really tough year. Like, the economy's been shit, and times have been really tough. So just go and for 20 quid, 20, 30 quid, go and enjoy a great evening of wrestling with your pals, and savor the indie scene, because we need it.
Yeah, and like buy the merch and support the guys as well, because
100%.
I'm the problem is I bought that many t-shirts lately that I mean, this all segues into the end now, but basically, I was wearing to the TNT show a Leon Cage T-shirt, which, and I said this the other day. It's one of my favorite designs. I think it was done by Alec. Oh my god, my mind's gone blank. Alec Hugel, is it? I'm not sure. His artwork's phenomenal, but he did this one for Leon Cage, and it's a Back to the Future inspired design. It's fucking so good. And anyway, I was wearing that at TNT, and I must have been 5 people at least. I'll say 5 people, 5 groups of people at least came up and was like, "Oh man, I love the T-shirt. You know, he's brilliant, Leon Cage. You know, real big fans of this lad." And yeah, there was a woman who was going to the show the next day, and she was like, "Oh, you know, we all back in Newport, or I think it was Newport." But anyway, you know, and she was asking, could she take pictures to show him? So like, she wanted to take a picture of the T-shirt to show him that there's people repping him, you know, all over the country. And no, it's class. And yeah, I thought that was great actually. And yeah, looking up at the Lego Back to the Future card I have up on my shelf, that's going to leads into what myself and Dan got up to last week.
Welcome, Leon. It's great to have you with us. First things first, what do you want to say to everyone out there, first off, right off the bat?
I just want to say thank you for you guys having me on today. And yeah, just thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to it.
No worries, man.
Yeah,
Welcome anytime. I have a big Welsh flag up in my garden, so you're welcome anytime.
Oh, of course.
yeah.
Always.
It's cracking, mate, because obviously the first match that I caught of yours was the one with Michael Oku, the New Wave, and obviously I just saw was it yesterday where you're now having a rematch with him on Sunday? Is that right?
Yes, it is absolutely crazy, to be honest with you. Yeah, the first match with Mike was my favourite match I've had to date. And just like purely off the crowd reactions and just in ring, it was just so much fun. And now running it back at Rev Pro, because the first time was like at New Wave, is just like my home. And now at Rev Pro, it's massive. Yeah, and I only found out when the graphic went up as well, so that's awesome.
That's cool. We were just talking before and wondering, like, back in your home area, he was the heel essentially. So what's going to go on now? I mean, Michael Oku's a favourite at Rev Pro. He's a fan favourite. How's this going?
I don't, to be honest with you, I don't have a clue how it's going to go down. I guess we'll just find out when we're in there.
Like, nobody's going to boo you though. Everybody loves you. I think Amira said that you're like a baby. Nobody can boo you.
Yeah. I am. You never know though. People could be booing me. They could all be.
Once you're old enough to buy a pint, they can start booing you. That's the law.
I can't disagree with that.
It's mad that you're only 17, mate. It's like, how did you start?
So my starting story is quite different to it's weird like everything in wrestling, to be honest with you. So my first ever session was at 12 years old, which is extremely young, and started and I did a few sessions, not many at all, and then the global pandemic hit. So I wasn't really able to train then until I was like 15. So then I started training. And then when I was 16, I got in contact with New Wave. And I managed to start training with them. And then within a couple of months, I was on the shows. And from there, it just flew.
Incredible, though.
That's nice, mate. So, if you don't mind me asking, like, because I'm a sucker for like logistical questions. So, how do you get to all the shows? Do you drive?
So I actually did pass my driving test in May. At the end of May, I passed my driving test. So I do drive now. But before it'd just be the case of like having a car to go up to the shows. So like people that live quite close to me and heading up.
Oh, cool, man. That's really cool. So, have you just? I noticed that you've done like a few shows in like Germany and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you?
Incredible.
How did that work out? Did you just have to? Did you have to fly out with like a bunch of you, or did you have to sort of go like on your own, as it were?
So it was like 2 weeks ago now. I did that like mental week. So
Mm.
on the Friday I wrestled in Amsterdam, which was awesome. And that was just a case of like just getting in touch with the company and just sorting out something where I wrestle for them, and it literally worked out as simple as that. Just
Oh,
a few
cool.
back and forth conversations, and I was in Amsterdam. And then from there, it was obviously like the case of like I didn't really like planning the week ahead. I obviously said then I wanted to go from Amsterdam while I'm in Europe to go to Germany and make the most out of it. So I go in contact with WXW, and thank you to Brendan, my coach. You know, one of the coaches at New Wave. He is so good with all these connections that we have like anyone who trains there is viable to just have the option to go and seek training and goes elsewhere. It's awesome.
That's class, though. Insane. What was I doing at 17? I wasn't doing that. I was wasting my life. Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
funny because
to be fair, when I was 17, I was in a band and it was very shit. So I'm not. If you want to make your ears bleed, then it is on Spotify. Hit me up for the link. But but not quite as rock and roll as that. Like we never played any shows outside of like outside of the UK really, but we didn't really do that many. So I guess it was a little bit rock and roll. So I can relate to you a little bit there. But that sounds fucking awesome, man. Like, what did you think of Amsterdam?
Honestly, like my plan was to spend the whole weekend there and just really enjoy the culture and stuff. But then I had to cut, so I flew out on the Thursday night, like because I did like a tape-ins. So then I flew the Thursday night after wrestling in Birmingham. Then
Oh wow.
the Friday wrestled in Amsterdam. Then flew back the Saturday morning to wrestle at Rev Pro for the 2 days. On the Sunday night, went to Germany. So it was like I didn't really see much of it. But when I was out there, it was honestly like just walking up and down the street. It was really nice. Like the area and stuff was very nice. And I spoke to the promotion, and hopefully I'm going to be going back next year. So, and then maybe I can stay for a little bit longer, hopefully.
Hmm.
you'd be old enough as well to experience the culture.
Not that I don't necessarily want to be honest with you.
not when you try, not with the career you're embarking on now, mate. No.
Yes, of course.
Otherwise, you'd be like me, where I had like 2 wrestling sessions when I was 20, and then never carried on. and then now I'm 44 and inquiring about starting again.
Ah.
It's just all part
I'll
of
have
your
more
midlife crisis, though.
I'll have more injuries in a week than Leon probably has in fucking 5 years. Touch wood, like obviously. Hopefully, you don't have any injuries.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
This is all sort of prepping you for next year seems to be kind of like a pretty big one for you. So this is all just groundwork, isn't it? Because who knows, you might have to do this like several times over in the calendar year, and especially only when you're just turning into an adult, it's going to be a real eye-opening experience for you, mate. I really hope it goes well for you. So
Yeah, hopefully. Like honestly, this year, like everyone says, like next year this, next year that, and honestly, like this year as a whole and last year as well, it's just like every year you make so much more out of like, you just start to like get more experience, and then you realize to like probably this year, like sinking in the moment and just really like, feeling it when I'm there. Because like, especially with that Mike match, the one against Michael Oku and New Wave, it was like the first 4 minutes we just looked at each other and nothing happened. But essentially, like that then was like the most nerve-wracking feeling I've ever had.
Yeah.
It was like I'm about to start wrestling Michael Oku right now.
That's insane.
is he one of the wrestlers that you kind of like looked up to in like your relatively young career so far. And are there any others who kind of really stick out to you that have been like really, really great to work with?
Honestly, definitely. Yeah, it's very crazy to me. So like Michael Oku, like a few years ago, I'd just be watching him have these really cool matches, and now it's like someone that I've wrestled, which I feel really pleasured to have the opportunity to have. And like Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster, you know, like I was watching them at a very young age wrestle ladder matches in NXT UK and win championships. And now, like, especially Mark, he's my coach now at New Wave Cardiff as well.
Awesome.
There's some talent comes out of New Wave, isn't there now? It's
Yeah,
insane.
like, to be honest with you, it's just the facility there is so good. I'm so thankful to have the training, because there's the training in Newport that I get twice every week. There's training in Cardiff that I can get twice every week. And if there's ever a time that I've up the Midlands, say, I can always go train with the Midlands school. So, you know, so many options, and all the coaches are just the top level.
Well, you've had a bit of a rapid rise then, really, haven't you? Kind of over the last year, really. You know, from the viral video to where you are now. Is there who do you want to wrestle next? Who's on your list?
Oh, honestly, there's so many people. Like, for me to wrestle, who would I want to wrestle? I mean, I'd love to have a match with Leon Slater. I'd absolutely love to.
He's fucking brilliant, isn't he?
Oh, he's one of the best. He's one of the best.
Yeah, I was at the Burning Heart show a few weeks back when he wrestled Haskins.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's so good.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. He's so good. I'd love to wrestle Danny Luna as well, because
That'd be great,
like I train with her all the time, but like I've never wrestled her in a match, which is crazy. I also understand that many people are like, you know, have the thing with like intergender matches, so I can really understand it.
I don't know. It seems to be becoming more commonplace now, doesn't it? A lot of promotions seem to just be having them, and it's without even qualifying them at all. They're just like, yeah, it's a match. They don't even mention that it's an intergender match now.
Yeah. Places are becoming more like acknowledgeable to it, which is lovely to see.
Oh, it's great, yeah. I mean, like, especially like just the scene, the Brit Rest scene anyway across the board is fantastic right now. So like every week you've got a couple of promotions putting on incredible shows, and then you realise that there's 2 or 3 other promotions that you've missed who will also put on great shows that weekend. There's fantastic entertainment everywhere for wrestling fans at the moment, and it's some of the talent coming through just so impressive.
Definitely. I can definitely agree with that. The scene is it's on fire. Honestly, it's so good. And
It feels like it's really turned up a notch in the last couple of years, hasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely has. Definitely has. I feel very lucky to be wrestling in it when it's at this stage as well, because like you got to thank everyone that's built it up to this point.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I think your age and your kind of stage in your career, you're kind of on the other side of the the downturn that happened with the whole NXT UK thing.
Yeah,
And the issues and companies really struggled to get through that, and now it feels like hopefully everyone's on the up at the moment, and the interest is there, the interest in growing. A lot of these shows are getting on TV a lot as well. It's great. It's fantastic to see, and yeah, man. Hopefully you'll have a shitload of opportunities.
hopefully, can only hope, and try my best as well. Just work hard.
You should do.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to touch on that really quick. So you've clearly got like a really busy sort of year, as you talked about, and the scene is there sort of ripe for the pickings, as it were. So hopefully next year graces you with like lots of really exciting matches and opportunities. But with you being in college, like how is that gonna play out? Like, I mean, I'm just really keen to know how you're balancing college and wrestling and everything like that at the moment, but what whether that education sort of side is still part of your plans.
So just to give you like a little overview of what I do in college, I do a level 3 diploma course of sports science. So when I left school, obviously finished my GCSEs, thankfully got very good grades. I was on the edge of doing A levels or just picking a level 3 course, which is the same sort of thing, but I wouldn't be in college as much. Although I'm still full times in college, you know, I'm just looking, like I was looking for something as well, something I can relate to, because I'm not going to get much personally from doing chemistry and biology A levels. Whether I understand, someone else will, definitely, and they'll thrive in that area. I personally believe I wouldn't, because I don't, like, GCSEs were hard enough for me. So then going into college, I was like, I want to do something sports related that I can just relate back to wrestling all the time. So on a weekly basis, I go to college. I have one full day off and I have one half day. I'm in every other day.
Wow.
And it doesn't really affect, because I'm only in until like school finishing times. I can then just go training and balance it there. Obviously, like if I have a Friday show, then it becomes a slight issue because I have to miss the day of college. Like when I went to Germany to wrestle, I was there from Monday to Thursday, and then New Wave was Friday, so I missed the full week then. But it's always all right because I can just catch up with the work, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Are they all right about it, the college? How are they? Did they kind of? I assume they know what you do, and it's, you know, a case of, you know, bend whatever attendance issues they may have.
Yeah, honestly, my attendance is very high, surprisingly. Like I'm always in, just putting, like if I'm there, I can just, if it's in my will that I can go, I have to go. That's my thing. I have to go. I can't just say, oh, I can miss it because I wrestled yesterday. I have to go. So even if that means I've come back early hours from London on a Sunday, I'm in Monday morning. Have to be. But honestly, college is great with the attendance as well. Like they really, like, honestly, I couldn't ask for more from them because they do support me in every decision I want to do.
You're a better man than me. Tell you what, if I'd come back late on a Sunday and had to go on a Monday, that'd be fucking it off. You're a far better example to the youth of today than me.
Oh, I try to be.
I can echo that. Have any of your tutors or lecturers seen you wrestle?
So honestly, they haven't come to any of the shows, but like they've watched on like YouTube and stuff me actually wrestling, which kind of scares me. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't mind wrestling in front of anyone, but it is like my lecturers who know me on a personal level rather than just seeing me wrestle, which is funny.
It's quite surreal, that, isn't it? Your two worlds sort of crossing a little bit. Yeah,
it is.
That's great. So, just going back to that, like, when would you effectively finish your diploma? Is there a time frame, or is it kind of, can you extend it if you need to?
So, I'm on the edge now of what I do with the next start of my education and whether I go to university or hold back and don't do nothing. But then I think that's lazy and I shouldn't really be on that side. I should probably look to do something. So my diploma for my level 3 finishes at May this year. So I had a very good grade in the first year. I'm en route for a very good grade this year. Hopefully we get it. And then I'm probably going to just go to the level 4 and then complete that. Then there's like, maybe I do a year where I do like half days up Cardiff Met maybe. And then I can get my level 5 and I've completed my course completely.
Oh, that'd be awesome, man. Like, well, good luck with it. Obviously, that sounds like a really, a busy schedule that is way more for me. I find it hard enough, like balancing a full-time job and just doing this.
Hey, man,
I can't imagine.
You're more switched on than me, and I'm 44.
It's all thanks to like obviously like lectures and stuff like that, because they sort of like help guide you in a way to like what I
Yeah.
want to. So obviously like having this decision to be like, I'm gonna stay on, I'm gonna apply for this course for the next year, like that's not up to me. If it was down to me, I'd just be head in the wind, just like don't know what I'm doing. I'll just see where I end up. And then thankful to them, they're making me be like, right, you need to plan out your future year. You need to plan out what you're gonna do while balancing your life.
So that's your college lecturers and tutors, isn't it? What were
Yes.
what were your teachers like in school? Did they know what you wanted to do? Were they telling you to have more realistic expectations to be a wrestler?
It was very hard with school, to be honest with you, because obviously then I wasn't as busy as like a wrestler. I was more just training, and I'd have like the odd show. Like especially coming to the end of school, like when my GCSEs started kicking in, that's when I started picking up.
Yeah.
So it was very hard in that sense. But yeah, it was hard in school because obviously I saying I want to be a wrestler. I want to be a pro wrestler. I want to be a pro wrestler. But they're still saying like you need your GCSEs. You have to do your GCSEs. Don't matter if you want to be a wrestler. You're doing your GCSEs. So I'm sat through geography when I don't like. I know in life I'm not going to be wanting to use this, which was harder to get a mindset.
I think you say that.
I get that.
My geography teacher was also my PE teacher in school, so there's a bit of crossover.
That's brilliant.
Talking of that, like your finishing move is fucking killer. But there's a bit. Would you name it? But if you had to name it after a like geography, for example, that I presume you don't really like, what would it be called? Would it be called
Oh
like?
Christ! I'm not sure. Named it after something in geography. My
Maths
geography,
meltdown or something like that. Yeah.
my geography was like, so there was actually quite fun parts of it, but it mostly was like about like rivers and erosion and all that. It was real
Yeah.
boring, that was. But then like the volcano side was quite cool. Maybe something to do with volcanoes.
Yeah, eruption.
Yeah, there's natural language like there that you can use in a wrestling context, like eruption, explosion,
Yeah,
disruption.
definitely.
Oh, no, that's cool.
Did you come up with the futurist thing then, or
I did.
Yeah, was that,
I did.
yeah?
I came up with
Like-
it. I wanted something to do with like the future because obviously I was like really young.
No, I was just going to say. So the T-shirt that like I've got it. It's class. It's such a good design. Your man who designs them is brilliant. It's got Back to the Future on it.
It had.
You weren't born when Back to the Future was out, or when it was popular. So what's the score with this?
So I definitely was not born, but nevertheless, it is one of my favorite movies.
Oh,
I
fair enough.
absolutely love Back to the Future. It's just a great movie. It's just
It's
an
class.
absolute.
I've got the Lego DeLorean on my shelf here because I'm a big geek. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, no, my dad as well. My dad was, my dad. He's the man. First off, he's an absolute legend. But he sets me on all these like movies and stuff, and Back to the Future is definitely one where I'd be like 5 years old and he'd be like, "This is what you need to watch."
What a man. That's exactly what I did with my kids.
Yeah, my old man was the same. But the would you see yourself then? Tagging with Kushida. You could be like to the future, like a tandem, couldn't you? Then
Definitely.
They both come out in hoverboards. You should oh man.
Imagine the visual.
If you get to a stage where you can talk about time cop enough to impress Tony Khan, imagine you with the Outrunners.
Oh,
Now that's a gimmick and a half.
oh Christ. That'd be
Getting a
brilliant.
DeLorean. You're getting a DeLorean. Come out with the Outrunners. That's what a gimmick. Tony Bucket.
Tony.
Oh, but yeah. So do you just we're coming to the end now, so we'll wrap this up pretty soon. But do you talking of the topic of like old movies and old things? Do you know what Thundercats or He-Man are? Did you grow
I
up with
definitely do. Yes,
cartoons with just CGI and emojis fighting with each other?
yes, I know.
Do you,
I know.
do
Okay,
you-
good.
so like, I still find it astonishing that you're so young. Like, do you know the phones used to actually have buttons, and that you used to have to press 2-3 times just to get to the
Genuinely,
letter G?
That's
That's
a
insane.
great point because I think it's the year I was born the iPhone was created.
It was.
Oh man, that is fucking hell. I felt old enough as it is.
I think that's a fact. 2007.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my god, man.
when you were born, the Xbox 360 was not long out, which is nuts
Yeah,
to me.
yeah,
Yeah. So like,
genuinely.
for me, retro gaming's like a Super Nintendo, or Mega Drive, or something. For you, it's what was it? A PS4?
Yeah, an Xbox 360, Skate 3.
Fucking hell. What a game.
Honestly, yeah, it was. I was very thankful for my upbringing as well. I've been so lucky with my family and stuff, like especially like gaming and stuff like that. My brother, we used to play all the time, like Skate 3, like Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Oh, what a
we used to
game.
play like
What a
zombies.
game.
No, I was going to say, have you played Black Ops 6 yet?
I haven't played it yet. I haven't
Very
played
good.
it yet. I
very
really
good.
need to play it. So I need
Yeah,
to
no,
get on.
It's very good. The campaign's excellent.
Good. It's a good sign for me.
Has your brother, obviously, you've mentioned the gaming. Has he seen you wrestle before?
My brother has, yes. He
Oh,
loves
no.
it. So
Is he older or younger? Just out of curiosity.
So my brother's older now. He's 22, 23 now. So
Does he not get the itch to give it a go and do some training?
no, he don't get the it. He don't get it. But it's funny
Oh,
because he was like mainly the reason why I got into wrestling. Because so obviously he would have been like 7 and I would have been 2 watching WrestleMania 25
oh my god.
in its final form. And just seeing Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker on that card just made me it was to that point that I said I'm gonna be a wrestler. Now I'm like getting closer to just living the dream. That's my thing. It's just WrestleMania 25.
So that was the catalyst, was it, for you to decide that
Yeah,
that's the current path you wanted to go down? Yeah,
Definitely. It was like funny because when I was in like primary school, I used to always tell people like I'm gonna live in Texas and I'm gonna be a wrestler.
Well, I can vouch, having lived in Texas for 2 years, it's not all it's cracked up to be. This is a true story, actually. When I was very young, I lived in the States for like 4 years. Spent 2 years in the very liberal Portland, Oregon, and then 2 years in the very opposite, not so liberal Texas, in Dallas specifically. Like I made some friends there and all that lot, but yeah, it's very backwards. But yeah, no, I totally get that, man, because that's one of the, I remember that match very vividly. And yeah, it was similarly like the Undertaker actually like made like quite an impressionable um impact on me when I was very young as well. I think it's just that larger than life gimmick and that the pyro, the entrance, there's the presence. I get it. Was that what drew it to you, or was it more like the in-ring action?
So honestly, I think a bit of everything. I think, especially with Shawn Michaels, just the emotional connection he got from me in 20 minutes. Because when he lost, I was crying. Never even I don't remember ever seeing Shawn Michaels before that. That is literally the earliest memory I have of life. Is 2 years old watching that and bawling my eyes out when he lost.
Wow.
And
So
it's
sure.
just a connection. And I mean, like the entrances, the massive, the special like entrances they have, where one comes flying out the sky and the other one comes up through the stage, and then the in-ring action just makes you so engaged in the story and everything going on. It's unbelievable.
That's what it's all
So
about, though, isn't it, mate? It really is. That's what wrestling's all supposed to be about. Because hopefully, you'll make the same kind of impression on similar kids who are like, really young and just seeing it for the first time, and they see the kind of insane shit that you do in the ring, and just actually be like, yeah, I want to do that. That to me is what wrestling should really be about. Creating memories for people.
That's the goal. Yeah, that's definitely the goal. Like memories, especially for everyone.
Is he the GOAT for you then, Shawn Michaels? Is he at the top of your list?
So I'd say like the three top of my list. I'd say number one is AJ Styles.
Great
Because
choice.
obviously Shawn Michaels retired when I was very, very young. So having AJ Styles then, who is very similar, but being there for me in my more comprehensive years. And yeah, then Shawn Michaels then, just the emotional connection. And it is always the thing of like, you can go back the years and, you know, watch everything. So I have definitely done that. And I've been a proper nerd about it. And then third, I'd probably go for like Kota Ibushi.
Respect.
Nice,
Love that.
good shout there. Mike would love you if he was on the podcast with us at the moment. He's a big Kota fan. Yeah.
He's not the only one.
Yeah, like honestly, like he's more now me like appreciating it from being a wrestler as well. And
Yeah.
well, being a
Do you find that
independent wrestler. Like
do you find that change?
Yeah, go
Sorry.
on.
I was just going to say, do you find that's changed your view on wrestlers, the fact that you are one now and that's what you do? And do you have like a whole new appreciation for some wrestlers that maybe before?
Definitely.
You wouldn't have?
Definitely. 110%. Like, especially like someone like a Zack Sabre Jr. Like, I can appreciate that on another level. Watching it from like a fan perspective, you can say, wow, this is crazy. But now, like, obviously learning how to wrestle a bit and getting on shows, you know, then you can be like, oh my days, he is a menace. He's unbelievable.
He's so good. I was there for his at the Rev Pro anniversary show for his match with Hechicero earlier this year. Oh man, they were like a Rubik's Cube, weren't they? It was just incredible.
Definitely, Rubik's Cube is the word.
That's in my top 4 matches of the year. That, and I kind of moved them around a few times throughout the year, but that's definitely there. It was so good.
Definitely, I can agree.
What's the best match you've seen this year?
The best match I've seen this year?
Not including you. You're not allowed to use your own.
It depends on what like view you come from, I think. Like,
well, just your favorite one. Then. What one do you?
For me, watching would probably have been the two with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. Was that this year?
No, that was last year.
They were last year. Oh
yeah.
That's how
there was
time
talking about.
You've been so busy, mate.
Talking about one the other day. If I think like recently, there was one at like Maple Leaf, Speedball and Takeshita. Oh my day, that was unbelievable.
That was incredible, wasn't it? Oh wow,
yeah. The Omega one last year. What was this year? There's definitely been so many great ones. Swerve Strickland, Bryan Danielson at All In was unbelievable. Just like, again, like I think that was like a more emotional connection again.
Totally
like,
agree.
It could have anyone in tears watching that.
It was. I was proper hairs on the back of your neck standing up moment. That it was like,
of course,
just chills. Yeah, that moment when Brian does what he's done in other matches where he just focuses on something. And he looks at his family and he just no sells, and it's like here we go, and you just like even now I'm getting excited just talking about it. It's such a good match.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
I was just gonna say we went to the after party show there as well when Swerve was crowd surfing. You wouldn't have been allowed in, unfortunately, but maybe next year you'll be able to go. When are you 18 anyway?
I am 18 on January the 28th.
Nice one. Not long to wait then.
Send you a happy
not
birthday.
long now. Not long.
Yeah.
So I'm becoming a bit more surreal that I'm actually going to be an adult.
When you can legally buy a pint, what's the first drink you're going to buy, or you just not drink and you're not going to drink?
I don't really have an appeal for it. I don't really have an appeal for it. But then I
I'll give you
know
some advice. Can I give you some advice on the best pints
absolutely
and why?
can. You absolutely can.
Cause. Because for years
Oh.
I drank far too much cause because I was trying to support Jean-Claude Van Damme's failing career. It's a true story.
Ah.
I believe that. Fully
It's
believe
genuinely true. It's genuinely true. I was like,
Well,
he's done loads for me. I'll do what I can for him. So, have you wrote your list to Santa Claus yet?
I have, to be honest with you, I have. And a new set of gear might be on there.
a new set of gear? What? Don't you like the Japanese writing on the trunks?
Oh, I definitely love it. But
What does it say?
always need more, don't you? You always need more colours.
Yeah, true, fair enough. Yeah, I can get behind that. It reminds me of we mentioned Zack Sabre Jr. Like his gear is quite similar in a way, but it has like the Japanese symbols on it. Do you know what it
Yeah.
says on your trunks, or is it just your name?
What it says on my trunks is just my name. But it's just because I was a second dan black belt in karate. So it's just like a reference back to that.
Oh,
nice.
nice. I like that.
It's just
I love symbolic representations in things like
definitely. I wouldn't just trust he's writing for no reason.
Yeah, well, like people who get dodgy tattoos everywhere. I had another random question. I meant to ask you. I was thinking about this. Just if you could be sponsored by anyone, any brand, your favorite brand, who would it be? Because Will Ospreay always bangs out Nando's. It doesn't look like he's getting anywhere. Who would it be?
Favorite brand?
Yeah, just someone you'd like to. If someone was going to sponsor you and you get some free shit off them, and like you'd endorse them, who would it be?
It depends. If we're on about like brands, like proper brands, it'd
Be
probably
anything, like,
go just like
Xbox,
Adidas.
PlayStation, Adidas. It's a good show.
Adidas
Yeah,
is the one. Like they do some brilliant clothes that I can really get behind. And you can use them in all walks of life. You can use them smart, casual.
I have a friend who's quite high up in Adidas. I'll have to have a chat with him.
Oh, we'll have to have a chat.
I'll fire him a message, and if he has anything to do with that or any contacts, then I'll pass him across.
No problem at all. We'll jump on it.
Yeah, there you go. You might get a brand deal out of this. Who knows? Andy, make the call.
I haven't spoken to him for about 10 years, but I'll give it a try.
By the way, random favour. Nice one, Leon. Right, well, we've taken up a bit more of your time than we probably should have. So, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. It's been cracking talking to you. You know, we wish you all the best. We'll shoot you a happy birthday message, obviously. And we'll hopefully catch you at a show soon. But yeah, we'll definitely be cheering you on, no matter what, because you're a very delightful young man to talk to, and we wish you all the best.
Yeah, and before we shoot, tell everyone about your merch, because there's some fucking quality merch there. The designs are brilliant.
You can get all my merch and everything you want to see on my Instagram, my Twitter. You can go and absolutely search out everything from when I started to now. And yeah, it's all over the place. MVs, merch, just random posts of photos, whatever you want to see.
We'll put them in the description of this when it goes out. But I can endorse the merch. I've got the t-shirts and it's class, and I'm probably going to get the hoodie.
Yeah, that's what we want to see.
Yeah, same here. I'm going to probably get one of those myself. So, no. Thank you for doing that, Leon. Wish you all the best. Good luck with have a nice rest of your day, and good luck against Oku on Sunday.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, boys. You take care.
No worries, mate. You take care, all right? See you soon.
You too, mate. Good luck. Take it easy, dude.
Thanks again for a great episode of the GWP Group Chat Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you all next week. Thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah, see you later. Sorry if I was tired as fuck today, but whatever.
Yep, see you later, guys. Keep safe, and remember, it's wrestling. It's not that deep.